Dear readers, today I want to teach you that readers don't just get to know the character who is the star of the story, they get to know the other characters too. When you learn about the other characters, you end up knowing the main character even better. Love, Miss Quartate. Pay attention to other characters too. How many of you have seen the movie Moana? When I watched the movie, I learned so much about Moana, but she wasn't the only star of the movie, was she? No, there were her parents, her grandma, Maui, and even the chicken. We learn a lot about Moana through those characters. To really understand her, we need to pay attention to the other characters too. So, yesterday, we learned a lot about Mr. Putter. We learned that he loves to take naps and wants to learn to play baseball. We know he has a cat named Tabby, but we can learn even more about him by learning about the other characters. So today I want you to watch me as I read the next chapter of Mr. Putter and Tabby and think about the other characters, his friends and family, to get to know him even better. So let's go to chapter 2. Here he is with Tabby. Chapter 2, the team. Mr. Putter found his mitt. Now all we need is a team, he told Tabby. Mr. Putter called his friend and neighbor, Mrs. Teaberry. Okay, so here we have a new character that we're going to learn about. Here she is. Mrs. Teaberry would know about a team. She was very sporty. She even walked the dog-a-thon with her good dog, Zeke. Okay, so let's stop here. Okay, what do we know about Miss Teaberry? Well, we know that she's sporty, which means that she likes to play sports and maybe even that she's good at playing sports. She loves baseball, and this must be why Mr. Putter called her for advice about the baseball team. So he knew that she would know something about a baseball team. Okay, now we're going to keep going, but now it's your turn to try learning about the characters in the book to get to know the main character, Mr. Putter, even better. Listen as I finish reading chapter 2 and think about what you are learning about the other characters and what that tells you about Mr. Putter. All right, so here she is, Mrs. Teaberry. Oh, and she has a dog named Zeke. Did we mention that? There he is. Of course there's a team, said Mrs. Teaberry. It's called the Yankee Doodle Dandies. Am I too old to play? Asked Mr. Putter. Heavens, no, said Mrs. Teaberry, handing Zeke a sniffy bone. You will feel young on that team. Will my knees feel young on that team? Asked Mr. Putter. You are not old, and neither am I, said Mrs. Teaberry. We'll both play. Mr. Putter hung up the phone. I hope I'm not too old, he said to Tabby. Tabby just purred. To her, Mr. Putter was perfect. Now I want you to think about, what did you learn about Mrs. Teaberry that can teach you even more about Mr. Putter? Okay, let's go through what we know about her again. We know she's sporty. We know that she walked the dog-a-thon and she has a really good dog named Zeke. We know that she treats her dog really well. So she must be a really nice person because I don't think Mr. Putter would have called her. Or would he be her friend if she wasn't a nice person? Probably not. He asked her, am I too old to play? And she said, heavens no, you'll feel young on that team. And so we learned that even though she's a lot older than we are, she doesn't feel old, and she does not think she's old. And so she offers to play on the team with Mr. Putter. So that means that she's a really good friend, and he's probably a really good friend to her too. So do you see how by studying the other characters in the book, we learned more about Mr. Putter? Perfect. All right, so readers, I'm realizing that It's really hard to know Frog unless you know Toad, right? And you can't learn about Poppleton without learning about Cherry Sue. And it's really hard to know much about Iris without knowing about Walter. You already know that characters are the most important parts of any story, but it's not just the main character who matters. The relationships the main character has with the other characters matter too. So today and every day when you read, think about what you can learn about the other characters in the book and what that teaches you about the main character. This will help you to get to know the main character even better.